If someone tells you they have a couple of something, do you think they mean specifically two? Like if I said, hey man, I got a couple of tickets, do you think I mean I have exactly two tickets? Or do you just think, oh, they've got like less than five?
The couple saying is just, it's just a saying. It could, literally, you could say I have a couple and it could just be like one large thing to me.
See, this must be like a Seattle slash Washington thing because people here, when they say I have a couple, they mean specifically two. It's the only place I've ever lived out of like 5 or 6 states that I've lived in where a couple meant specifically two, not just kind of like, hey, I got a few of these.
Come on, hold on. Before we keep going on this, tell me how crappy the Lions are in the University of Michigan because their coach is a terrible person. Come on, give it to me.
Do you know that coach is actually from my hometown?
I did not, but I've also been telling everyone about that, and I'm like, it doesn't surprise me because Nick's a terrible human, and so's. I mean, listen, okay, I don't want to go on the record and say he's a terrible human because I don't know him. He's made some mistakes. I mean, you have a newborn and you're still out there messing around with your side piece, but you know what? I'm confident in saying he's probably not the greatest person. But anyways, yes, he's from Derby, Kansas, of all places.
I think that if you are running around on your pregnant wife with another woman and then you show up allegedly at their house and try to physically harm them, I think that you can say that they're probably not the best person in the world. But I am fascinated by this story because he's from my hometown, which is a town of about 20,000 people. And he went from being the pride and joy of Derby, Kansas to being a persona non grata real quick. Man, life can change so fast for you.
That just shows how quickly, like, you can just be, like, turned on because, I mean, that guy had everything. And yes, he probably was going to get fired anyways because he hasn't done a very good job, but he literally threw away, like, 20 to $40 million.
I'm fascinated by the idea of how you can be the hero one day and a villain the next, even though you for yourself are exactly the same person. Like, the public perception of him is completely different, but he's still exactly the same person that he was before.
Rumor has it, and I think the New York Post posted this Friday, that hours after he got out of jail, he was DMing an OnlyFans model. Like,
oh, he's caught up. Like, man,
I mean,
some people can't.
And it's sad, right? You feel for his family, but at the same point, it's like, man, just be a decent human. I don't understand. It's like that saying, never meet your heroes or whatever. Like, that's absolutely true.
Oh, it's absolutely
believe that
true.
100%.
That's why I'm fascinated by how somebody could be, like I said, a hero one day and a villain the next, and in reality, they're exactly the same person. Like, he was allegedly not a great person when people considered him to be a hero, and then you just get exposed, but you're the same person either way. Anyway, I polled the audience.
Couple. Does couple actually mean couple?
I don't feel like when somebody says a couple, I don't think of two. I don't take it in the literal sense, even though it has a literal meaning.
Yeah, I don't either.
Apparently, I polled the audience about this, though. It's split 50-50. 50% of people think it means exactly two. 50% of people means it just means a small number of things, but not necessarily exactly two.
Yeah, I mean, I would think it's probably pretty dumb. I also think some people are just like, I don't listen to people when they talk anyway, so I don't really give a shit. I feel like that's like the, unless it's on social media now or like a tagline, no one cares what anyone's saying. Do you feel that, or is it just me?
Oh, I don't think people are generally really listening to other people. Okay. What percentage would you say you are listening to another person when they are talking?
Professionally or personally?
Give me professionally first and then personally.
Well, professionally, that's a lot of my job, and I'm not shitting on it, but I spend a lot of my day listening to my employees or my coworkers. So I'll say 80 to 100% there that I listen. Now, Personally, no. It's like probably 20% at best.
Oh, I would say I'm probably right at around 50%, both personally and professionally. Professionally, I'm listening when I know it directly has to deal with me. But if it's kind of like in my area, but I don't really know about it, I'm pretty much 100% tuned out. I would say 50%, no, probably 60 to 70% professionally, 60 to 80% personally.
Just make sure you're listening to your wife. That's all you got to do.
Exactly.
Wait, am I your wife? I'll be your wife. I think we've talked about this had this conversation before.
Do you want to be my wife? That's just me. I mean, I don't want to talk about this.
I'd be your roommate, sure.
I mean, roommate's a little bit different than wife.
Yeah, I wouldn't actually marry you.
Oh, you wouldn't put a ring on it? You just use me? You just use me? You wouldn't.
Only if we can move back to Derby, Kansas, and Sharon Moore's going to be there soon. Where else does he have left to go?
Where do you go back, man? That's a bad day, man.
So, yeah, it's a terrible day. All right, you ready for some shout outs?
We can do shout outs, or otherwise I have a new game that I was going to play. Celebrity acquaintances.
Okay. All right. I'm listening.
Okay, so I'll say a celebrity's name, and then you say the name of the very next celebrity you associate them with. You ready?
Sure.
Keanu Reeves.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh, from The Matrix. Okay.
Yeah.
I think immediately of the lady from The Matrix whose name I don't know.
Carrie-Anne Moss, I think.
Carrie-Anne Moss. I also would have accepted for him Patrick Swayze and the guy from Bill and Ted.
I quickly went Matrix and Bill and Ted. For some reason, the only Bill and Ted character I could think of was George Carlin. So
Scarlett Johansson.
Colin Jost. It's pretty easy.
Oh, you went relationship, right? She's with the guy with...
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's... And I've always wondered, like, he just seems like a goofy guy. And listen, that's fine. I'm not saying goofy guys can't get some of the most gorgeous women on earth, but I just wonder, how did that happen?
The first person I think of is the guy from Stranger Things. I think of David Harbour for some reason. Because they were both in, like, a Guardians movie.
Okay.
That's the first person I think of.
That's a deep cut, but okay.
The Rock.
Oh, I mean, the first person that popped up was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, I think of Kevin Hart.
I don't think of The Rock as an actor per se. Still, I mean, he will always forever be the WWE icon to me before acting.
That's the only ones I had. We'll do this again.
I mean, that was fun, quick, fast, good.
Got this football.
Is that a Huskies sweatshirt too? You're wearing?
That is a Husky sweatshirt, right?
You're such a fair weather fan.
Unlike you, I live in an area that actually has some sort of positivity associated with their sports teams.
But so does Detroit. The Red Wings are good.
What sport is that?
Oh, you don't even shit on hockey.
What a hockey? How do you play that? I'm not familiar with that. That's not a sport that you see talked about in the national lexicon. Is it on TV? Has it ever been on TV?
Yeah, it has. It's
hockey.
Fine.
How do you spell it? How do you spell it?
Let's not get into this.
Does it start with an H?
I don't want to get into having to prove why Detroit is a sports town to you.
Oh, I'm sure it's a sports town. It's just not a one that wins.
All the cities you've ever lived in that I'm aware of are not sports cities.
Derby, Kansas, my hometown, state champs like 50,000 times. I come from a sports city, a winning sports city. I know that you don't understand what that's like to be from a place where winners live, but that's okay.
On the Derby High School Hall of Fame, is it you and then Sharon Moore?
Oh, I think I'm probably above him now. I think his name has been taken off the list.
All right. So am I still doing shout outs, or do those get replaced?
Just waiting for you.
You're just waiting for me to shout it out loud? Kiss reference? What a great band Kiss was.
Overrated.
All right.
I'm not a fan.
Let's see. Rodney Hwang, Yvonne Fuller, Burl Martinez, Johnny Walsh, Mark Luna, Isaac Barnett, Sadie Mays, Caramel Holt, Courtney Owen, and Toby Clements.
You think somebody's really named Caramel?
It might have actually been. So, is it caramel or caramel?
I say caramel.
I guess I do too.
Is it spelled caramel? Like, what's your name?
Yeah, it's
Caramel.
Spelled caramel, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right, let's see. So, just a few quick stories from the past week of my life.
Oh, okay.
I was scrolling social media late last week. You know, Facebook. Well, they all do this, but Facebook will bring up like there will be just random videos, like shorts, and there are a lot of times it's women, and they're like, my first date was this and that, blah blah blah. It was terrible, and that's why I'm with this person.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, I'm not kidding you. There was a woman on there who said that she lived in Orlando about 10 years ago, went on a first date with a guy who took her to a steakhouse in downtown Orlando.
Okay.
Like it was the whole story I've said on here a few times. They sat down. She tells the guy that, he's, and this is where it's not me, but she tells the guy that, she doesn't think he's very good looking, and she gets up and leaves. And then he continues to cry and chase her out of the restaurant. But I'm telling you, she looks exactly like the person that I remember going on a first date with, except her name isn't the same name. But all the details were the same. Like,
oh, man.
So I'm half tempted. I mean, I'm sure I can't find it now. But in the moment, I was half tempted to try to send her page a direct message and be like, "Hey," but how would I do that? I would come across as a creep, right? And my wife probably wouldn't appreciate that. It was wild.
It was so similar.
I stayed up the entire night. I was just baffled. I was like, "Is this an AI joke? Is it an algorithm?" It was insane. It was nuts.
I would think that given your dating history, the previous relationship that talks about you the most is probably the person who, when did you get, got ran over by sheep? I would think that is the family that probably talks about you as an ex-boyfriend the most. You probably get brought up a lot about as the ex-boyfriend who got ran over by a sheep.
That was definitely the relationship that, if that relationship had never happened, I never would have met you. So you can thank her and her family for me leaving Michigan and going to Florida.
Man. Okay.
Anyways, so that's the second thing. Third thing is, I am officially a recognized professional wrestling champion.
Okay. Go on.
So I want to tell one story, and I'm going to make it as quick as possible because no one probably cares listening to this. So I'm part of a group. We've been building up a match, and this past weekend was this Superior Championship Wrestling's biggest event of the year. It was standing room only. There was probably between 200 and 500 people packed into this little skate park, right?
That's a good amount of people.
Anyways, the big spot was a triple threat. The big spot was one of the competitors was going to jump off this 20-foot scaffolding, right?
Yeah.
And there was going to be eight of us to catch him. Because if we don't catch him, he hits concrete and he's dead. I mean, it's that crazy. So we get over to where the spot's going to happen. Some things are supposed to happen. And I look up and he's ready to jump. And I look up and I'm like, oh shit, I need to get over there because there's literally nobody that's supposed to catch him there. So I grab a couple of guys and he falls as we're running into position.
Oh, maybe he should have looked.
And I take the brunt of it. And he falls on top of me. I fall into a family. It worked. But that was scary as hell. And I know you make fun of professional wrestling. Maybe everyone else does. Yes, some of it's scripted. But you got to be an athlete. I don't know if he did a front flip. I don't know how I caught him. I got this giant bruise across my right tit going down my stomach because like he kicked the shit out of me coming down. Like, but anyways, we get back up, we finish the match, and I'm part of the of a championship now. So
you are on the championship team. How do you feel about this? Like, do you feel like a better man today than you were at the start of this weekend?
You know, so this is indie wrestling. I don't want anyone to think that this is like the big time, but it is followed. And I will tell you, I now understand why people like Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, why they did it until they were dead. Well, Flair's not dead, but like they'll continue to do it until they're dead. Like even in front of 50 people, like you get a high, and I can't explain it.
Oh, I always wondered how those like athletes must have a really hard time after they leave the spotlight, because you could never replace that. All of those people who are essentially there just watching you and cheering you on.
Like that happened, you know, that spot, which was towards the end of the match. And I kind of blacked out because apparently the crowd started like a "This is awesome" chant and they went crazy. I don't remember any of that. Like, so I couldn't even imagine walking into a stadium like John Cena in front of 65,000 people, all like that. That'd be incredible. But anyways, I won't go on, but yes, I am a professional wrestling champion. My tribal leader, Brandon Hudson, is the talent, and I'm just tagging along.
I was wondering why you sent me a picture of a hat that looked like you'd ripped off part of the label. I was like, what is this?
There was a wrestling after party, and like groupies came out. That was my first time ever.
You had Ooh.
Like,
was Mrs. Shull there? Did you think about crossing the line?
No. I once again, it's pathetic to say this out loud, but like, so I volunteered, right? We don't get paid for this.
Yeah.
But like, you get there at 4:00. We didn't go on till 8:30. Like, you're just building up to this moment. Like, I was exhausted by the end of the night. Like, so I had a couple of bourbons and got out of there.
So then, when's the next big date? When are you going to defend your title?
So February, we're doing a in-ring ceremony, I'm told, where we're gonna have a celebration, and then we're gonna fight. I don't even know who it is. Well, I do know who it is, but I'm not gonna say it out loud yet.
Oh, okay. Keep the mystery.
Anyway,
good
so
for
yeah,
you.
so it's yeah. All I will say is I've had a lot, and this sounds so dumb, but I've had a lot of people in my life be like, "Man, that's awesome, John. Like, you know, you went, you're doing it, blah blah blah. Like, you're living a dream." So all I'll say is go live your dreams. Life's too short. It's indie wrestling. It's not WWE. I'm never going to sniff that. But, like, it's just fun. Like, just go. If you want to do something, go do it. I don't know what else to say.
I'm a firm believer that you don't have to be good at something to enjoy doing it.
Yeah, like, I'm a bodyguard. Like, I'm his bodyguard. And I have built a character to where people think I'm a tough guy. Like, it's amazing. Like, and the main guy of the group is an anchor at the TV station I work at. The nicest guy ever, and he's like he comes off in character as like the most vile, evil person. Like, it's fun to play characters like that. Like, it's just different. So,
do you have anything else? Are you ready to go on here?
No, I mean, I'm ready to go on. I'm just happy to be here in one piece.
So our top 5 is top 5 cookies. What's your number 5?
So first off, I have to ask you, did you go generic, or did you go like holiday cookie specific only, or did you go generic?
I went like generic cookie. The type of cookie generally. I didn't go like Oreo double stuff or something like that.
All right, perfect. Then we should be able to get on with this top 5. Right. So my number 5 are peanut butter cookies.
Okay.
Pretty boring, but like they're delicious. So
I'm going to have a really hard time with any cookie that's not chocolate. Like, if it's not chocolate, why would I bother with it?
I think I only have one chocolate cookie on my list.
Oh, well, that's not a very good list then, I guess. My number 5 is a fortune cookie. Fortune cookie is the funnest cookie.
Okay.
It's the funnest cookie. It's the most exciting cookie. It's like a 2-for-1. You get to eat something, you get a little surprise. Although they used to give you like real fortune, and now they're more just like, be a nice person today.
It's fine. Like, the cookies suck. Like, you're only doing it to eat the wrapper, or eat the wrapper, see the fortune. But like, do you eat the cookie before you look at the fortune?
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember like what you're supposed to do. If you're supposed to eat the cookie and then look at the fortune, or look at the fortune and then eat the cookie. But I don't buy into that kind of stuff. I'm not really a superstitious person.
I know. My number 4 are gingerbread cookies.
Oh, okay. That
They
to
might
me,
actually they might actually be my favorite cookie, but I couldn't put them in the top 3 because you just can't. But I
no.
love gingerbread cookies. They are, man, you get that mix of cinnamon, maybe some nuts in there too. Ooh boy.
My number 4 is macadamia nut.
Okay, I do like me some good nuts and some cookies.
I know you do. More nuts you can get in your mouth, the better. That's what you've been saying for years.
Have I been saying that for years?
Long time. You did ask about marrying me earlier.
I did. You know what? Listen. If we were both going that way, I would. Sure, I don't care. Whatever.
I don't know. You're more of a. I might date you. I don't know if I'm going to marry you.
Yeah, that's fine. So my number 3 is going to be controversial.
Okay.
But it is a cookie, and it is a biscotti.
Oh, those. I'm not concerned with like whether or not it's actually a cookie. To me, that's just a waste.
Oh no!
Like that's just not a good cookie. Like why waste things? You got peanut butter. Like that to me is like, what do you want? Do you want steak? You want hot dogs? You want cheeseburgers? You want pizza? You want nachos? Would you like this nice salad?
Don't rule out a biscotti. Like it is the most dunkable kind of cookie there is on the face of the earth.
Right, but then imagine if you got a good cookie and dunked it.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but biscotti with the usually the dark chocolate on the bottom with the walnuts. Oh, I want to go get some right now. Stick it. I want to dip it in something right now and eat it.
My number 3 is a kiss cookie. One of those cookies that you put like Hershey's chocolate kisses in. They got like a big piece of candy in the middle. That's a good cookie.
Yeah, those are just okay to me. Just meh. I like them, but they're just okay.
Okay. I mean, I could have some more respect for your list if you didn't have biscotti on there. But
dude, biscottis are delicious, and I think you need to give it a try. Get some milk.
I've had biscotti.
You know what I do actually? One of my terrible things is if I have a yogurt in the house, I'll use the biscotti as a spoon. And I'll eat the yogurt.
That's disgusting to me. Yogurt is one of those foods that, like, I like it, but I don't really enjoy eating it. Like, I don't really want to eat this.
I mean, what's not to like about yogurt? Everybody likes yogurt. Everybody likes yogurt.
Oh, I like it, but I don't like the consistency of it.
All right, so my number 2 is once again, I think it's going to be maybe controversial, because I feel like a lot of people don't like these, but I love them, and it is an oatmeal raisin cookie.
That to me would be no.
I love
that. To me is a cookie to me is the most overrated cookie you can think of. Like oatmeal raisin is not.
Man, if you make it just right, once again, the spices are key, and if you get like if it's warm with the spices and raisin, it's like a nice candle. Just goes down easy, just flows well.
Again, though, like that to me is just the kind of thing is like, oh, wow, that's really good. Imagine if I put this level of preparation and detail into a cookie that was actually better. Like, imagine if you make a really good oatmeal raisin cookie, imagine how much better your other cookies. My number 2 is a sandwich cookie, also known as a whoopie pie.
Oh, okay. Like, are those the ones you buy, right? Like with the cream in the middle?
Yeah, you can make them too, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's peculiar, but I can't say anything because I have oatmeal raisin and biscotti on my list.
Yeah, your list is really snobby. It's really snobby.
No, it's not.
It's a snobby list. It's just not like, it's not a list of the people. Mine is a list of the people. Yours is a list of like the bourgeoisie. Yours is a list of the fancy people. I'm in the cheap seats and you're down there at box level.
I'm guessing that our number one is probably the same.
Chocolate chip?
Yeah, it can only be chocolate chip.
It can only be chocolate chip. Number one has to be chocolate chip.
Now, with what you just said, you are correct. Like, I'm not going to go for, like, just a regular chocolate chip cookie. Like, I need to have, like, huge chunks of chocolate. Okay. Or, you know, something like, it needs to be altered a little bit, but still be a chocolate chip cookie, if that makes any sense.
Can it be regular chocolate? Can it be like Hershey's chocolate? Or does it have to be something imported from the mountains of Brazil to satisfy your fancy taste there, fancy pants?
Needs to be 98% cacao.
I was wondering, it's like, is he going to say cocoa or cacao? Do you have anything in your honorable mention? Because I'm getting really hungry.
No. I was going to put like an ice cream sandwich cookie, but, you know, like a Klondike bar type of thing. But
oh, I thought you were talking about some kind of golf club.
A sandwich?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I hate you so much.
Yeah, there we go.
I hate you so
much. Got him. The only other ones I could put on the honorable mention, I could do Snickerdoodle. I'm not opposed.
I just don't know if I've ever had a
thing.
Snickerdoodle before.
Well, then you're not a man of the people. You're not a man of the people. How are you going to go and take off in your wrestling career when you're not a man of the people? What are they going to find? What are the fans going to find out when you're this hoity-toity?
What if
stuffed like crust upper class guy, right? You're not a man of the people. You shouldn't be wrestling. You should be out there playing polo.
Dude, I can't. Have you ever played water polo?
No.
Yeah, no, I don't want to. That looks extremely difficult.
That looks really hard. I don't want to do anything that's that difficult. I don't really want to play any games.
I'm good. I
don't want to play any games in water unless it's Marco Polo. That's it.
Marco
Polo. Maybe fish out of water. No, well, fish out of water is part of Marco Polo. I could do sharks and minnows.